Hey, this is Buck Dharma of Blue Oyster Cult, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged, USDA Prime Angus and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all those, gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had. Likely will be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner, 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, welcome in, everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and independent affiliates in select markets, Hotel TV, where applicable. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Thanks for joining us over there. A fun group. Talk about your favorite foods, restaurants, and recipes. Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. And, of course, by the way, all of our streamers, our friends over at Vacation Buddies giving away a couple of nights right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona. That's right, 3-day, 2-night luxury getaway right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona. If you know the answer to a simple trivia question, and if you know the answer, call the number I give you right afterwards after I read the question. Here's the question. What city is home to the tallest building in America? What city is home to the tallest building in America? If you know the answer, call 702-603-1414, 702-603-1414. Now, Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want you to have that luxury 3-day, 2-night getaway right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona, if you know the answer to that easy trivia question. And if you do, call right now, 702-603-1414. Recently, I had a golf outing, and folks, I have to tell you, I am really, really bad in golf. In fact, it was kind of funny because my friend and I were out golfing, and that's actually Colonel Bucky, who is the producer, the longtime producer for the Sports Circus. And so I did a Facebook Live on this. It's actually kind of funny, so you'll have to listen to this. Everybody on TV can hear it and see it, but you can only hear it if you're just listening in. But you got to hear this. It's actually kind of funny. And it was, wow, wind. It was unbelievable. Check this out, folks. This is kind of fun.
All right, it's a windy day out here on the golf course in North Las Vegas. Got to tell you, folks, it is windy, and the wind has just died down for just a quick moment, so we get a chance to take a breather. But if you wait for a second, here comes a big gust of wind, and here comes the dirt. Look at this. Here it comes over the hill. Imagine playing in these conditions. One would think you're at St. Andrews, but you're not. As the dust comes up. Look at this go. Look at the wind. Try hitting into that. This is unbelievable, folks. And you know what? Actually, it might help my game, if you know what I mean. If I had my left track button, I'd hit the left track button. Here with Colonel Bucky. God, I can't even see. I got all kinds of crap in my eyes. What do you think?
I think you need sunglasses not to protect yourself from the sun, but to protect yourself from the blowing dust.
From that stuff right there.
Yeah.
And you know, folks, look, luckily it's died down just a moment here. And I have, which ones? Where's mine? I've got this one right here. I got the pink one here. Luckily I can see the dirt. And I got that green one right down yonder. And that is in birdie location. The problem is that wind that you can see in the distance. Got to tell you, folks, it's kind of ridiculous. What's the sustained wind? 20? 22?
22 sustained, gusts up to 40.
All right. We're going to let Colonel Bucky go ahead and take his shot. Well, let's see how bad it gets. Well, that's for a par in that. I tell you what, you get a par in that, that's a long-ass putt into the crap. Yes, there's a kickoff. Get out of here. Oh!
This wind is
That's
ridiculous,
unbelievable.
folks. Seriously.
That's great. Look at this dust. This is it's crazy. Oh my God.
It looks like the hill is on fire at all the smoke coming off of it.
I can't even open my eyes and see what I'm looking at here on the screen. It's that bad. Mercy. All right, signing off from North Las Vegas. Yes, we're in the hood and we're golfing. And guess what? There is no hood element here right now because nobody wants to be out here except the fools that we are. And the price is right because guess what? It was free, and free is always the right price. Make sure you tune in to the Sports Circus Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 8 a.m. in Atlanta on WDJY 99.1 FM. And of course, our friends in Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the Yankees, home of the 49ers, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Colonel Bucky going for a birdie. And the ball would hip hop all the way there, but just didn't get in. All right, folks, that's going to do it. So long, everyone.
I have to tell you, folks, watching the wind kick up dust, it literally looked like the hills were on fire, and that was the smoke from the fire. It was unbelievable, and the rate in which it was coming across, it was kind of like having some kind of a small tornado come rumbling across the golf course. And look, I'm not a big golfer in the first place. I think it's not a sport, it's a skill game. It's a very tough skill game. But then again, if you could drink a beer and do it, in my opinion, it's not a sport. Nonetheless, I will say this. The conditions, the last time I saw conditions like that was when I was actually on the course at St. Andrews over in Scotland. I have never seen wind like that, and that was sustained wind. And hell, back then I didn't even know where I was. I knew where I was. I'm just saying, at Scotland at St. Andrews, because I went to the castle and I was like, oh, the golf course is right next door, so why not go out there? And so I walk out onto the 18th, and I saw this little stone bridge. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Let's get a picture of that. And the wind was just whipping. And so I didn't really realize where I was. Of course, in the golfing world, that's kind of like the Graceland of golf. But folks, it's always like that right there on the banks of the North Sea. Well, that's kind of what it was like out there golfing with Colonel Bucky in these ridiculous conditions. You say, well, why are you talking about it? Because listen, there's a lot of people that play golf out there, and people ask me to do shows on golf. So I'm going to do one talking about not just golf, but wind in sports. And let's face it, wind drastically alters a golf ball's flight, distance, and direction. In case you didn't know, now you do know. And let's face it, requiring significant physical and mental adjustment, a headwind increases drag, commonly reducing the distance. Up to 50 yards, 150 foot. That is a very, very significant difference. Of course, the tailwinds will push the ball further, and the crosswinds will push it offline. And there's all kinds of strategies on this, but think about the distance control, headwind versus tailwind. With the headwind, a stiff breeze creates a ballooning effect, causing the ball to spin, too much, and to lose its penetrating flight. So it's kind of like, we saw this one. You'd hit it up in the air, and then the ball would just like be a bird that was just shot out of the sky. And you wonder what the heck happened there. And I guess the rule of thumb is at 1% distance calculation for every 1 mile an hour headwind. So, for example, a 20 mile an hour wind requires roughly 20 to 30 extra yards. So you have to hit it, I guess, in a way. You don't want to swing too hard, though. I'm going to get into that in the next segment. But instead of swinging harder, of course, which will add spin, and of course, what happens? Look, take an extra club because you're not going to get the result you're looking for. And the tailwind itself, that's another discussion. Look, a helping wind reduces the spin necessary to keep the ball up in the air, resulting in less carry, but is significantly more roll on landing. So that's one of those ones you kind of hit it low. So the rule of thumb, according to your favorite search engine that rhymes with noodle, they say reduce your distance expectations by about 0.5% per mile of wind, and factor a longer rollout, which is essentially what I just said. And then there are the dreaded crosswinds. Now, Colonel Bucky is one of those perpetual slicers, and he slices on purpose. As a right-handed golfer, he'll hit to the left and slice it back to the right. So in those conditions, he was really having a hard time. So they say, play with the wind, basically the friend method. Instead of fighting a sideways breeze, aim your target further away and let the natural forces guide the ball into the hole. So, for example, in a left to right wind, aim left to the green and let the wind push your ball and the shot onto the putting green. And so they also say that some advanced players, of course, sometimes hit a fade into a left to right wind, or essentially a draw into a right to left wind to neutralize the lateral movement, creating a straighter, more predictable trajectory. Now, me personally, I hit the ball straight, and I guess when I do hit it straight, I mean, it is straight as an arrow. But boy, when I miss, folks, I mean, I miss big to the left or right. I'm a left-handed golfer, so, I mean, I hit it so far offline, it's laughable. It's seriously laughable. But I have to say that I don't do this for a living, but it's just for fun. We're going to keep on going with this wind in golf and other sports in just a few minutes here on the Sports Circus.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus. Join me and Hall of Fame world champion and all-star celebrity guest for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, also thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by our friends at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Check them out, folks. All right, welcome in everybody listening in on all of our radio affiliates, including our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM. That is 8 a.m. Monday through Friday in the greater Atlanta market. Our friends right down the road in Montgomery, Alabama, and Auburn, War Eagle, and our friends all the way down Columbus, Georgia, listening in on WAUD. That is 12:30 in the AM dial, home of the Atlanta Braves. And, of course, a big welcome in to everybody that's listening in at 7 p.m. Monday through Friday over there, up and down the Midwest, out to the West Coast. Everybody driving between sunny Southern California, right here in Las Vegas, listening in on Highway Country Radio, 101.5 FM and 107.3 FM. That's home of the Vegas Golden Knights, the Raiders, and the Sports Circus, 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Up and down the West Coast, up to Anchorage, down to our friends in Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA, that home of the San Francisco 49ers, the New York Yankees, and the Alabama Crimson Tide. And, of course, all those watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and Independence from coast to coast. Thanks for joining us in select markets. Hotel TV, same. Chicago Food Favors, same. And all the streamers, thanks for joining us there. And those are Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, Libsyn, plus a whole bunch of others. Righty. And no, folks, I don't have that written down anywhere. I just go ahead and read it because I've said it literally thousands of times. By the way, if you're just tuning in, our friends over at Vacation Buddies offered a 3-day, 2-night luxury getaway right here in Las Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or in Scottsdale, Arizona. If you know the answer to a simple trivia question, if you're just tuning in, I'm going to go ahead and repeat it, give you a shot at picking up that luxury 3-day, 2-night getaway right here in Vegas, Orlando, or Scottsdale. If you know the answer, call the number I give you right afterwards. And here we go. What city is home to the tallest building in America? What city is home to the tallest building in America? If you know the answer, call 702-603-1414, 702-603-1414. Vacation Buddies is not affiliated with this station, but they want you to have that luxury 3-day, 2-night getaway right here in Vegas, Orlando, Florida, or Scottsdale, Arizona. If you know the answer to that easy question, call 702-603-1414 right now. So in the last segment, I played a clip of a golf outing that I had, which was kind of humorous, but it was remarkably challenging. And literally the winds, as we looked a little bit greater into the wind category, the winds were sustained about 35 miles an hour. It was ridiculous. Gale force winds out there, and there was dirt and dust blowing all over. And we're playing on a really questionable course in the first place. It just wasn't very good. Nonetheless, it's just what we did. And guess what? The price was right. And so, hey, it was free of charge. Gotta like that, folks. So free golf is always good. It's probably because nobody else would get out there and really tough the wind and so forth. So we had the course to ourselves, and we were hitting a couple of shots from the tee box each one, and it was just a par 3. But let me tell you something. The conditions are, it's not a hard course, but what's difficult is once the ball hits the ground, because the surface is really rough. Really rough. It seems to be potholes all over the place. On hole number 9, you putt the ball, and you could think it's going perfectly straight, and then it'll go across a patch where there's part dirt and part grass, and the ball will ricochet maybe a foot and go the opposite direction. So, I mean, it's really challenging. And it seems like most of the course is that way. But we do it because it's cheap and it's fun. It's something to get out and do after Mass on Sundays and stuff like that. Nonetheless, so it was about wind. And so that's where I was going with all this. And there are strategies to play with or against the wind and this, that, and the other, from the crosswinds, the tailwinds, the headwinds, and whatnot. One of the big thing is flight control. So the old knockdown shot. So, look, to prevent the wind from essentially grabbing the ball, golfers have to learn to lower the trajectory. and essentially hit one of those worm burners. Now, me personally, I like to hit the moon shots. I like to get it way up in the air. And so on a windy day, for example, our golf outing that I had just mentioned, I was playing with the wind on the cross shots, on the cross breezes from right to left, for example, as a lefty. And I don't slice the ball. I hit the ball straight. So I would turn my body and actually hit into the wind. And I did this on hole number 8, and it was a real short hole. It's one of those, I think it's about 80 yards. But there's 2 sand traps, really rough sand traps, right in front of it. And so you have to literally drop the ball right over the sand trap. So you have to hit those moon shots. If you hit the low one, it's going to get stuck in the sand. So I actually use a sand wedge from the tee box. And so I hit the moon shot every time from there. But I will tell you, this time I was smart about it because I did rotate myself so I would hit it. Essentially, it was a right to left wind. So I hit it into the wind and it dropped it just about 2 feet away from the flag. Great news. And if you know what you're doing, which I don't, I just said, well, I'm going to go ahead and try this. They say, being the powers that be on the search engine that rhymes with noodle, they say to place the ball slightly further back in your stance than usual. And now I don't even know. I mean, I know how to do it, but I don't have enough confidence in my game to do that. Then they say shift more weight to your forward foot and keep it centered. This is for that knockdown shot. So you basically hit that real low line drive. And then they say choke up on the club slightly and use more impact, like 3/4 swing. See, now you're adding a whole bunch of stuff here. And this is where it gets complicated. And somebody once told me, and of course I don't even know if there's any truth to it, they said just about every swing that you make, it should be similar, meaning in the strength of shot. Just about every swing. And so until you're just doing that pitch and putt kind of a thing. And so I try to do that. I try to hit everything kind of at the same speed, the same everything. I'll just move my clubs, and I tend to swing a little harder. So for something that's about 120 yards away, I'll use a 9-iron, where most people will use an 8 or maybe even a 7. But I have pretty good control with the irons. But I don't understand the whole place the ball slightly further back. I get it because once I start looking at the ball and start doing these, let's put it further back, then let's shift our weight forward on a foot, choke up on the club, and then hit 3/4 swing. Now you've got me thinking about the 32 things that Colonel Bucky says that you have to do before you hit a golf ball. I just want to do 2 things. I want to set the ball down and take a practice swing before I hit it. That's it. And that's exactly what I do. And so I'll take the practice swing and I'll step about maybe 6 inches away from the ball, but I'm parallel to my shot, and I literally will do a practice swing, and then I'll step up to the ball and repeat the swing. And if it's not a good swing, I'll swing it again, so I get a good swing, a good feel, so I know that I'm knees bent and everything at about the right amount, whatever, for myself. But my point is, I don't think about a lot of stuff. Now, if I'm trying to do this flight control knockdown shot thing, again, I'm the amateur's amateur, so I don't really know much about this. But all I know is if you start making me think too much on choking up and then place the ball further back, whatever, now I think I'm going to hit the ball too fat, and just something not good is going to happen, or I'm going to end up hitting the ball right off the top of the ball. And I don't think a whole lot of good is going to happen when I do that. Now, they say, with this whole wind situation, they say, well, wind isn't just an airborne issue, and of course I can attest to that. Stiff gusts can deflect a rolling golf ball off its intended line. Absolutely. So again, you still have to play the wind. So they say when playing on fast greens, a strong crosswind requires you to read the air just like you read a break in the grass, aiming slightly to the side to compensate. And so the greens in this particular course, they're really thick. Really, really thick. It's only because it's, a particular time of the season. But you got to think about, if the greens are thick, you're going to have to hit the ball a little harder anyway. But you're still going to have, if it's a headwind, well, you're going to have to hit it a little bit harder to cut through the wind. And of course, even if it's a tailwind, because the grass is so thick on the green, you're not going to get that much boost in the ball on the putt in the first place. So you still have to hit it a little bit harder. But the left to right stuff is where it gets a little bit tricky. And mind you, these are relatively flat greens. So now imagine when you have one that's breaking to the left or right, now you have to way break to the left and right. So the practice greens were like that. And I found myself shooting the ball probably at a 30-degree angle away from the hole because it broke that much just to bring it back. Crazy stuff, folks. And so, I mean, is it mentally taxing? I mean, not for me because I'm terrible anyway. But Colonel Bucky, who is getting up there in age a little bit, he believes that, of course, there's a fatigue factor here. And even the search engine that rhymes with noodle says that wind forces you to consistently calculate adjustments, physically fight the elements, and frequently make tough decisions at your strategy, accepting that you will hit a ball and hit a few bad shots, but it's critical to preventing a wind blast or a windy day from destroying your focus. I mean, come on, that's just kind of elementary. I don't even know why they would put that in the results, but I guess some people maybe need to hear that, maybe need to see it. But golfing in the wind is not the easiest thing to do in the world, folks. Got to tell you. As a matter of fact, when we come back, I found something interesting on practical-golf.com, and I want to get that out there to you just because, and then we're going to go ahead and move away from golf. Back here in a few minutes on the Sports Circus. Don't go anywhere.
Stop it!
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime, nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. 800-876-7041. That's 800-876-7041.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP-TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure you check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, our prior guests, recorded shows, which can be found again on Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeart, Stitcher, Deezer, and Libsyn as well, plus a whole bunch of others. Also, check out the partners page. Lots of great partners at thesportscircus.com, and one of our food favorites is Al's Number One Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. That's Al's Number One Italian Beef, 1079 West Taylor Street in Chicago's Little Italy. If you can't make it over there for some great food, check them out at alsbeef.com. That's alsbeef.com. They can send it right to you. That's right, so you don't have to miss out. Mention Ringmaster Sal, and who knows, maybe they'll give you a free prize or something. Maybe a t-shirt. I would ask for that. I got a few of those t-shirts. Boy, they're pretty cool, too. One of them is called the Italian Stance, and you'll have to go to alsbeef.com, and you can read all about that, too. It's how to eat the Italian beef sandwich. All right. Welcome back to everybody. TV, radio, you know who you are. And I'm going to go to this practical-golf.com. They say they have a whole thing on playing in the wind. And this is kind of interesting. So this whole theme for today is dealing with the wind, whether it's golf or whatnot. We're going to get into whatnot right afterwards here, right after golf. They say, though, for a long time, the biggest Achilles heel of their game was playing golf in the wind. And, of course, they naturally hit the ball very high and sometimes with a lot of spin, and that's really a bad combination to have when, of course, things start to get a little gusty out there. So whenever they step onto the golf course, knowing that they were going to be faced with windy conditions, well, of course, they'd tense up a little bit. And so their tempo would not be as smooth, and they felt like it was a fight with Mother Nature. And so the results were, of course, less than stellar, as you could probably imagine. But think of this. Many golfers fall into that category when they're playing golf in the wind. And most of us think that we can fight our way through the wind by hitting the ball harder. And this is the exact opposite of what should be going on. And they say, let me explain a few major points about playing in the wind. All right, well, let's listen. Spin is your enemy. The harder you swing, the more spin you put on the ball. Spin is very bad in the wind. Any mistakes you make will be exaggerated. Don't swing harder. Solid strikes are rewarded. Balls that are struck well and travel through the wind more effectively, yes. If your shots are less than crisp, they will not, well, most likely be eaten alive. So it's not really a good situation. So essentially, don't hit too hard. But the direction of the wind changes things. So when playing into the wind, the curve of your shot will be affected more and will turn more than usual. So if you hit a draw or a fade, expect it to move more. If the wind is behind you, it will affect higher shots more than lower shots. Your ball will not curve as much. Now, think about this. Those are some basic things. But what do you really expect when you're out there playing in the wind? Listen, stop fighting. The key to playing in the wind is to take a smoother, more controlled swing. This will help you strike the ball more solid and put less spin on it. And you should be thinking about swinging 75 to 80% of your normal speed. And if you step up the ball, that's right, if you step up the ball thinking that you're just going to muscle it through the wind, you will likely send the ball way up in the air and watch it drift forever as it veers away from your intended target. So they suggest making a better observation. Maybe, I don't know, it's very rare that they seem to see golfers who take too much club when they're hitting into the wind. So this goes back to their theory that none of us are being realistic about our true distance on the course. If you have the wind in your face, it's okay to take 3 more clubs than you would under normal circumstances. So taking more club and swinging with a smoother tempo will keep the ball lower so it will fly to your target more effectively. Conversely, of course, if the wind's behind you, well, think about the arc of the club that you're hitting. And if it's a pitching wedge, the wind is going to make it travel much further because the ball will be higher in the air. So if it's a long iron, the wind will not carry the ball as far, and it might dip a little bit faster, but it would certainly roll a heck of a lot more. So they say Well, they like to play the ball about 1 to 3 inches back of their stance, which allows them to trap the ball a little bit more and encourage a lower ball flight, but they don't necessarily play a punch shot either. But of course, trying to keep the swing as compact as possible. So they suggest to give the ball a little bit of room to move. So they say we've learned that when we play into the wind, the ball will curve more than it usually does. And this will happen in crosswinds as well. Knowing this, well, you have to give the ball a little bit more room to maneuver. So they think this really makes golfers uncomfortable, but they say you've got to take this into consideration before the shot. Overall, the main point that they want you to come away with is stop thinking that you have to fight the wind. It's a battle you'll never win. Well, not never win, but you'll lose most of the time. And think about working with the wind rather than against it, focusing on hitting a smooth tempo and hitting the ball solidly, which will yield better results. Just be realistic and know that it will be harder to score in windy conditions, and that's okay. Every golfer struggles playing with the wind at all levels, and of course, the ones who accept that they have the challenge and they have to change their approach will score better. And what I find about this, what I find interesting here, is now I use the orange and green and blues and yellows and pinks and reds and whatever, and I use the smoother ball, right? So those are the softer ball. So they don't catch the wind as much. They actually cut through the wind because think about the divots on the ball. Well, they're not as pronounced. And so the wind doesn't play that much with the ball that I'm using. So maybe from an amateur golfer, maybe I'm doing it right by playing a ball that doesn't have all those really pronounced divots like your standard Titleist or whatever. So I do have those, but let's face it, on non-windy days, then I would play those. But generally speaking, on the windy days, I'll play the smoother ones, the softer ball, because it cuts through the wind. I could be completely off on this, so don't listen to me. I'm not an expert in golf. We all know that. But what I used to be pretty good at was track and field. Now, there are wind challenges and wind issues in track and field. So I used to run the quarter mile, the mile relay, also did the long jump and triple jump, sometimes the high jump. But think about this. In track and field, wind is crucial, and it's a variable that directly impacts the athlete's speed, jump distance, and overall technique. And I know this one. I've been a part of this rodeo. Now, tailwinds push athletes, of course, yielding faster times and longer jumps, while headwinds, of course, create resistance and basically do the opposite of the other. But because of this, World Athletics enforces strict rules regarding wind-aided marks. That's right, wind-aided marks, and that is legit. And guess what? You can find that in Wikipedia or in NCAA or trackspikes.co or whatnot. There's all kinds of these citations for this. Now, there's something called the two rule, right? It's the 2 meter rule. So for short sprints and horizontal jumps, the rule states that any tailwind exceeding 2 meters per second or 7.2 kilometers per hour makes the performance wind aided. Think about that. So essentially, if you take 7.2 and you multiply times 2/3, which then you'll come up with miles per hour. So it's approximately about, I'm going to guess, a 4.5, I'm just doing this off the top of my head, 4.5 to 5 mile an hour wind. We'll call it 4.5 mile an hour wind, something like that. Well, that would be the rule. So there's the wind-aided results. So records, of course, from performances exceeding this limit cannot be ratified as world, continental, or national records if those conditions apply. So if it's a windy day, well, you're not going to set a world record. Even if you are faster, it doesn't matter. Now, from the qualifying side, wind-aided marks typically do not count towards official qualifying standards for most championships. So think about the World Championships, the Goodwill Games, this, that, and the other, all those real big, of course, the Olympics, all the high-profile track meets and whatnot, right? So those wind-aided marks, they do not count towards official qualifying standards for major championships, though they are completely legal for deciding places and scoring points and whatnot. So the affected events typically are the 100, 200, 100 meter, the hurdles, 110 hurdles, the long jump, and triple jump, 2 events that I did. Now, I can see how that can help. I could absolutely see how it can help, but it doesn't help that much. I mean, it's not like you're going to be running with a 30-mile-an-hour tailwind. Think about that one. And that's according to NCAA.com. You can check that out. But think about this. Research shows that for every 1 meter per second of tailwind, it improves a 100-meter sprinter's time by approximately 1/10 of a second. Conversely, a headwind does the exact opposite. Right. So when we come back from break, we're going to continue with this. This is pretty good stuff, folks. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus. Back in a flash.
Excellent.
I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Listen, were you forced into getting a solar contract and now you just don't want it anymore? Maybe the solar company misled you. Or is your solar contract buried with hidden fees? Are you not saving the amount of money you thought you would on your energy costs? Don't worry. At the Solar Exit Hotline, we can help you cancel your solar contract, even if the panels are already installed. Our experienced legal team will review your contract and help you cancel it, possibly saving you thousands of dollars. You got to call right now for complete details. So listen, if you're not happy with your solar contract for any reason, we are here to help you cancel it. Call the Solar Exit Hotline now for immediate options to help you exit your solar contract. This call is 100% free.
800-485-3125. 800-485-3125. 800-485-3125. That's 800-485-3125.
Are you or someone you love struggling with an addiction to drugs or alcohol and want to be set free from the chains of addiction? Then call Addiction Helpline America right now to get the help you need. From drug and alcohol addiction to dual diagnosis treatment, we provide a confidential helpline to help people like you get sober and live happy, substance-free lives.
Treatment helped me get my life back. I was so addicted, the only person I could focus on was myself and what I needed. I hit rock bottom and lost everything. Through treatment, I was able to overcome those demons and focus on my family again.
I used until I overdosed and almost died. That was the end of the road for me. After seeking treatment, I now have hope. I learned skills that help me deal with life on life's terms.
800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. 800-426-4994. That's 800-426-4994.
Why pay retail for your next car? Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Folks, make sure you check out the store at thesportscircus.com. Lots of great items, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, ball caps, beanie hats, sweatpants, sweat coats, What else do we have? Travel mugs, coffee mugs, pillows, blankets, and all kinds of other doodads and great office items and whatnot. And listen, everything made in America with the clever Sports Circus logo on them. And of course, that is the store, once again, at thesportscircus.com. Make sure you check that out. Mention my name, of course. Get an extra 10% off your first order. All right, good stuff. And welcome back to everybody on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody watching our Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, Wild Charter, CBS, NBC Digital, and independent affiliates in select markets, Hotel TV, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, and of course, everybody on Pick Your Favorite Streamer. Talking about the wind, this segment, I'm going to first finish up here a little bit on track and field and get into something else here, probably a little bit of baseball, possibly football, maybe even pickleball. Just depends on time. So remember, the wind absolutely affects performance. Research shows, according to trackspikes.co, every 1 meter per second of tailwind improves a 100-meter sprinter's time by about 1/10 of a second. That's a big deal, folks. And so that's why they say, we're not going to count certain records or whatnot if you have a big tailwind or something like that. We can't do that. But remember, wind wreaks havoc on technical events like, of course, the pole vault and the high jump. Imagine that, where athletes really rely on precise, rehearsed approaches. And swirling or gusting winds can certainly alter the stride pattern, disrupt takeoff angles, and compromise the athlete's timing and rhythm. And, of course, their plant. That's where they plant the pole, for example, to leap over the bar. I mean, it is very challenging in the whole track and field thing. And that's why they have sort of a complex scoring system. Now, there's a lot of information from NCAA.com, and they talk about key terms and headwinds. And there's something called an anemometer. And, of course, it's an instrument for measuring speed, of course, right? We've got to have that. And they're talking about all kinds of other things, measuring the wind and whatnot. Who measures the wind? In case you don't know, in large events, wind gauge operator is recommended by the NCAA for competition for both track and field events. And the wind gauge operator is responsible for ensuring the wind meter or measuring instrument is installed and operated in accordance with Rule 13-17.1, 7.1. And of course, ascertaining the velocity of the wind in the running direction for each race of 200 meters or less, ascertaining the velocity of the wind in running direction for horizontal jumping events, and of course for recording wind velocity information and including it in the results. So there's a formula here. Wind velocity is measured in meters per second, with wind reaching and readings rounded up to the nearest tenth of a meter per second. For example, plus 2.03 equals 2.1, and minus 2.03 equals minus 2.0. So they're rounding that way. So yeah, in track events, the wind measuring instrument, of course, is placed beside the sprint track, inside the oval, preferably 50 meters from the finish line. So there's no monkey business. And in field events, the wind measured instrument shall be placed 20 meters from the takeoff board from the furthest pit point used in competition. So for triple jump and long jump, for example, is basically it has to be placed 60 feet from the takeoff board, right? And that's where you measure your foot from the distance so you don't go over the line and basically have that jump disqualified, right? Real simple. And so again, it is the 100 meters, 200 meters, 100-meter hurdles, 110 hurdles. That's in track where the wind assistant impacts the following events, right? Also from field, long jump, triple jump, and also combined events, the heptathlon and the decathlon too. So in case you're keeping score, all of that stuff actually matters. Per NCAA rules, the length of the time that shall be averaged for the wind's measurement in each event is as follows. Long jump, triple jump, 5 seconds. 100 meters, 10 seconds. 100 or 110 hurdles, 13 seconds. And the 200 meters, 10 seconds. So that's how long they actually measure the wind so they know if there is some kind of advantage. And remember, it starts at the start of the event anyway. And so, yes, there are limits and headwinds and scoring and so forth. Look, there's a whole big thing on this at NCAA.com we're not going to get into. And me personally, I'd rather talk about a knuckleball. And that's what we're going to do in baseball. Think about the knuckleball itself. I mean, the ball dances, it jumps all over the place, and it's really hard to hit if the pitcher really knows what they're doing. I taught myself how to throw one. Got to tell you, folks, not the easiest thing in the world to control, because you really have very little control, and it's very hard to throw, because really the idea is to take the spin off of the ball. So there's obviously a grip, and the idea is minimal rotation and essentially have the ball float unpredictably in the wind. Because the airflow, when the wind hits the ball, the seams create some kind of crazy erratic pressure or drag crisis, causing it to dance, drop, dart in midair. It's really hard to hit, folks. It looks easy, but it's not easy at all. And yeah, if you don't know how to throw it, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. Me personally, I put my fingernails into the seams, and I put 3 to 4 fingernails in there, right? My index finger, middle finger, and ring finger. And I put them in, and I grab the ball in a nice grip on the seam. Everything I throw in baseball is on the seams, and that's because if you get a new baseball, new baseballs are very, very slippery. Even after the rub down, it doesn't matter. New baseballs are slippery, so I always threw everything off the seams anyway, so maximum movement. And so think about the physics of the knuckleball anyway. As the ball slowly tumbles without rotating, the wind hits smooth patches, raise the seams unevenly. Of course, this causes shifting of air pressure, the old vortex shedding, that pushes the ball in unpredictable directions. And the oddity of this is while designing this uncontrollable pitch, while you're trying to actually throw this thing, it's equally maddening for the guy throwing the ball. I mean, the pitcher really has to deal with a lot, not knowing where the hell this is going to go. And it's really the catcher that's probably in the biggest, or better yet, the most unpredictable position. And people say, well, is it a trick to throw it? No, it's a legitimate grip. It relies entirely on aerodynamics. That's it. Does it cause injuries? Nah. If you get hit by it, it's pretty low velocity, maybe 50, 60, 70 at the most miles per hour. And yeah, people are still using it too. Knuckleballs are fun. But what about in football, right? We think about the kicking game first, limiting deep passing second, and of course forcing teams to rely on the run in football. So gusts over, we'll say 15 miles an hour noticeably alter the ball's trajectory, while the wind exceeding 20 often causes a drastic decline in passing efficiency and overall scoring. So the big wind, what does it do? It forces a running game. And even if you have a great kicker, it's hard to kick with, against, sideways wind, whatever. It is tough. And so think of directional drag and tailwind trajectory and horizontal swirls. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And even if you're right there in the shadow of the goalpost, folks, it's not easy to kick that ball through the goalpost in case you're keeping score. And being the kicker is one of the loneliest jobs when it comes to football. But the passing game, and quarterbacks are already under a ton of scrutiny anyway. And so now you say, all right, well, hey, it's a little bit windy, but go ahead and throw the ball downfield. So think about the wind speed of, over 15 miles an hour. It leads to a very sharp decline in pass attempts traveling over 20 yards as the deep ball becomes very unpredictable. And think of the shape of the ball and the seams and all kind of crazy stuff going on there. So the receivers are going to have to adjust their routes and body positioning essentially to try to track the ball, that it may hang up in the air a little bit too long. And what if you don't throw a perfect spiral? Now it's all over the place for sure. So let's go ahead and go right back to the running game as God intended, right? 3 yards in a cloud of dust, because passing accuracy and completion percentage drop significantly. And teams typically abandon deep passing attacks in favor of a run-heavy, short yardage playbook when it's really windy out. And so essentially, you have to think of the field position game, right? So that plus yards kind of a thing. If you're in plus territory, if you're on their side, the offensive side of the 50-yard line, I mean, you've still got to get the ball really close to be in a scoring situation when it comes to even passing. So everybody's going to stack the box on defense. And what happens when they stack the box? Well, now you've got maybe 8 men that are stacking the line of scrimmage, right? And the whole world knows you're going to run the ball. So now your running game and your blocking game needs to be better than the defense that's jammed up, that's trying to jam your A gap, B gap, C gap, D gap, and all that other fun stuff. And so the whole emphasis goes on filling those gaps and stunts and all kinds of crazy things from the defenders, because let's face it, their job is to jam every opening where that runner could bring the ball through. And so the idea is force 3 and out, punt the ball, and hopefully the punter's having a bad day too from the other team, and you'll end up with better field position. And so if you get pinned in the old coffin corner, now you got a bigger problem, because now we know that you're going to run. And so, again, the other team's going to stack the box. And so you're going to have the same challenges that they had. And now it's just a field position game. And those are usually lower scoring games in the grand scheme of things. And I have been to some of those games. I have seen some of those games at Soldier Field in Chicago. And let me tell you, that wind is unpredictable there, just like it is in Green Bay, just like it is in Buffalo, just like it is in New England and in New York, or better yet, New Jersey, right, where the Jets and Giants play, and in Cleveland and in Cincinnati, even in Kansas City. These teams play in the elements, and I think it's fun. And honestly, we should have a Super Bowl literally revolve around every stadium, and the Super Bowl should be held at Soldier Field. It should be held in Green Bay. It should be held in Buffalo, where there's a ton of snow. And it's a natural progression of the elements for the season. And, of course, the springtime it's windy, but autumn it's windy. And, of course, we know winter, it could be windy and cold, miserably cold. And so why not play the Super Bowl in the progression of the season? I would love to see that. All the players I know that either are still playing or they have played, they said no, they want perfect conditions. That's why they always have it in the usual places in LA or Miami or San Diego, or even right here in Las Vegas now in the Dome. That's what happens. But wind in sports is a handful. Look, we could do a whole week on this. I was going to cover pickleball, but we just ran out of time. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the circus today. I'm your Ringmaster Sal. We'll see you in 23 hours right here on your favorite station. Until then, so long, everyone.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
Why isn't this an awkward moment?
Pay retail for your next car. Just visit beepinautos.com to find your new-to-you car or truck. They find cars for people, even when cars are hard to find. So just go to beepinautos.com and click on Find Me a Car, and they find your perfect car on the wholesale market. Beepinautos.com. They're a car concierge. Beepinautos.com. BEEPIN autos.com. Beepinautos.com. Now you have a friend in the car business when you need it most. Trusted since 2013. Just click Find Me a Car at beepinautos.com.
I'm your Ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it out here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.